All Hail Biafra! This is Biafra Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please like, share, and comment.
The ongoing detention and trial of the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has sparked fresh controversy following a confrontation on the floor of Nigeria's House of Representatives. At the center of that confrontation is Abia State Representative Obi Agwocha, who engaged House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas in a tense 7-minute exchange over what he describes as Kanu's deteriorating health condition and the government's silence on the matter. Agwocha had raised a point of privilege during Tuesday's plenary, demanding answers to a letter he submitted nearly 2 months ago to the Speaker, Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu regarding Kanu's worsening health. In dramatic fashion, he declared that Nnamdi Kanu is on the verge of death, insisting it was a matter of life and death that warranted urgent parliamentary intervention. The Speaker ruled him out of order, but Agwocha's persistence has yielded results. The House is now scheduled to debate his motion this week, following Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu's intervention. While Agwocha's involvement in this case is not coincidental, he has been formally authorized by Nnamdi Kanu himself to interface with the Nigerian government on his behalf. Well, joining us now to discuss these developments, the medical concerns, the parliamentary battle ahead, and what he believes must happen next is the representative for Ikuano, Umuahia North, Umuahia South Federal Constituency of Abia State, Honorable Obi Agwocha. Thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you very much, OJ. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Honorable Agwocha, let's start with Tuesday's heated exchange with Speaker Abbas. You raised Nnamdi Kanu's health as a point of privilege, but the Speaker ruled you out of order. Now, can you walk us through what happened and why you felt this approach was necessary? You stated that Nnamdi Kanu is on the verge of death. What specific information do you have about his health condition that led you to make, such a grave assertion?
Well, on the 21st of August, I had paid a visit to my constituent, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, at the DSS detention. And when I met with him, honestly, I thought I was seeing a ghost-like figure. And we discussed extensively, by which we had an intervention of his medical doctors to do a full assessment of him. And their conclusion, which was part of the report that I sent to Mr. President, that I sent to the Attorney General and to my Speaker, was the conclusion of the report was that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu had organ insufficiencies, including a low potassium count. You could also recall that during the rendition, the extraordinary rendition on him, his nose were broken, and so many other issues that arose from that. So mainly what I was saying to the Attorney General and to the Mr. President and to my Speaker was for them to urgently intervene to give him adequate medical treatment, and at the same time for them to constitute their own panel, government panel, to reassess Mazen Nnamdi Kanu with a view to look at the medical report that was in existence, which was his own medical report. And the Attorney General actually constituted a medical team to reevaluate Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Upon their evaluation, they even went further than Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's team of doctors to also verify that there were other issues that even were not captured by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers. Doctors. So the court in its sitting also instituted another panel of Nigerian Medical Association to independently verify the other two reports and assess Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. So we are still waiting for the NMA report to be made available to the court so that we can look at how far that he has gone into the deterioration of his health. But Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, make no, we should not be under any illusion, is sick And if his health is not managed away from the primary health centers that he's been managed at the DSS facilities, what we are requesting for Mr. President is for him to intervene to have DSS transfer Mazen Nnamdi from a primary healthcare type facility to an adequate tertiary health facility anywhere in the country, so that his health can be managed effectively. Otherwise, if by providence that they allow Mazen Nnamdi to continue to deteriorate and he dies in detention, it will be catastrophic and volatile, especially in the Southeast, for them to manage. What we want is for the government to be circumspect about it and look at it critically, that Mazen Nnamdi has a fundamental human right. He has neither been convicted for any crime in Nigeria, nor, so that for him, the same right that should be availed to me or to any other Nigerian should also be accorded to Mazen Nnamdi. His health is very paramount and must be treated accordingly.
All right, Honorable Agocha, thanks for the information. You're very specific. You're also very detailed. But I'll also, at the risk of asking for, personal information, I'm wondering, since you've engaged directly with Mazen Nnamdi and with his medical team, and you're specific in what you are requesting for, the sort of medical attention at a medical facility that you think will be able to look after him. Do you have an idea of what ails him? What is he suffering from? I get the point of the broken nose, a few other things that you mentioned. But then if we're using phrases like on the verge of death and that the health is deteriorating, and we're talking, 2 months ago up till now, what precisely ails him, and what are your expectations when you return to plenary and you represent your demands to the Speaker of the House of Representatives? Are you hopeful that he will do the needful?
I lost you there a bit, okay, but let me try to make the general assessment of what you just said. Yeah, I used the word on the verge of death because of the deteriorating conditions as were assessed by his own doctors. And as well, when the second team of doctors constituted by, I believe, at the leave of the Attorney General, also went further than the doctors. That means that, at the baseline, which is Nnamdi Kanu's doctors, are saying that he has organ deterioration and insufficiencies, low potassium. And if we continue to allow him to stay in that condition unmanaged and not given adequate medical treatment, then what we are invariably saying that Mazen Nnamdi is going to be on the verge of death, which was why I urgently said, please take this man away from the DSS treatment facility, which can be compared at best to a primary health facility. They will not be able to give him adequate treatment. And that was why I specifically requested for him to be taken to an adequate tertiary health facility where he can be given multiple attention on multiple issues to be treated. I mean, it's best for Nnamdi to be alive than to be dead. Even the judge in the matter said it's best for him. It's only somebody who is alive can stand trial. So, but fundamentally, this is something that is requested, that is due to Nnamdi Kanu as a citizen of Nigeria. Every citizen has a fundamental right to adequate health care and treatment. Now, regarding the Speaker, the urgency of it was why I came under privilege. One, because I have written them earlier, requesting for their intervention. And as a member, I deserve to have a response of whatever issues that I raise, whether it be positive or negative. So when they didn't respond, and it appears that that culture of silence existed in respect to Mazen Nnamdi, we cannot continue to deal with the issue of Mazen Nnamdi in private. It is important that it is venerated in public so that people would know his health status, his condition, and the solutions that we are providing for him to be treated. I don't think that asking for Nnamdi Kanu to be given adequate medical treatment is too much. But what we are saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu deserves every fundamental right to get adequate treatment from the state.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Now, of course, we know that, you were specifically named by Nnamdi Kanu to interface with the federal government on his behalf, and you raised that order, that issue under Order 2, or Order 6, Rule 2, on privilege, like you rightly said. Now, in as much as the Speaker ruled you out of order, he has said and promised that this motion will be entertained under proper procedure. Have you gotten any commitment as to this being the case, when this might happen?
I lost you there, but I think I understand what you are trying to ask. We've received a commitment from Mr. Speaker on the floor of the House of Representatives that he will allow for a proper motion to be brought to the House of Representatives for consideration. So within the next few days or within the next week, we hope to bring a proper motion for the consideration of the House of Representatives and for the House of Representatives to take a position on that, to which will determine whether Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has a fundamental right to be given adequate treatment while in detention. So I'm happy that even though that we came through member privilege, that the Speaker has also agreed to allow for a proper motion to be put forth, and then when we hope, what we hope with not just myself, but in collaboration with other members, especially of the Southeast Caucus of the House of Representatives, that we all come together and stand up and demand for urgent intervention of Mr. Speaker of the House of Representatives and indeed Nigeria to ensure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is given adequate treatment that he so deserves.
All right. Now, I'd like to discuss a few topics here. Some Nigerians are now calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. We are seeing these hashtag free Nnamdi Kanu all over social media, including Vice President Atiku Abubakar, activist Omoyele Sowore, and other Southeast leaders. And I know that this is coming especially after we saw reports from the North Katsina State, but specifically of officials holding peace meetings with terrorist leaders under Operation Safe Corridor with pledges of reconciliation. Meanwhile, we know that Nnamdi Kanu, who I believe was discharged at one point in 2022 by the Court of Appeal, remains in detention. And these are the conversations that we're seeing online. Now, how do you reconcile these apparent double standard in the government's approach in dealing with Nnamdi Kanu's case? Now, do you believe there is any sort of ethnic or regional dimension to how the federal government treats security challenges in the Southeast versus the Northwest?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, OJ. Clearly, Section 40 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended guarantees the right to peaceful assembly and association. So I'm very happy that despite the veil and the veil of silence that has existed all over the country, Nigerians are waking up to their responsibility and demanding for justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And if it takes for them to have a peaceful protest, then that's what it will take. I've endorsed that, that we all should speak up now. But the truth is that in Nigeria there appear to exist two sets of rules. One specifically for the Igbos and another for the other Nigerians, especially in the administration of criminal justice in Nigeria, where an Igbo man, goes through a whole lot of challenges than any other tribe in Nigeria. That bias, I don't know where it exists and comes from, maybe since after the post-Civil War. But we are all Nigerians, regardless of our ethnic backgrounds, regardless of our cultural backgrounds. The same right that exists for a Northerner, for a Yoruba man, for any other tribe otherwise minded. It's the same right that should exist for the Igbo man. There shouldn't be any special exceptions. I mean, look at Nnamdi Kanu. See, look at what we are fighting is even to get treatment. There are a whole lot of people in that gap previously that were held by the state that even demanded to go overseas to get treatment treatment for their ailments. But in Nnamdi Kanu, it seems that we have to go 10 steps further, sometimes more challenges, uphill task, to even get the government to consider giving adequate medical treatment to Nnamdi Kanu. You also look at in the administration of criminal justice, the charges that have been put forth to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, when others that were also in the same gap were pardoned or exonerated by the court. At the determination of the court, they were free. But Nnamdi Kanu has been subjected for 10 years in trial. 10 years in trial, and to no end would that happen. So, but as of today, a lot of Nigerians are coming together to say enough is enough. Look at the recent pardon of Mr. President. He pardoned everybody, even those who are drug lords, those who have murdered people in the country. Yet Nnamdi Kanu has not been proved, either through the court testimonies of witnesses or otherwise minded, that he has committed any offense. Yet he's been subjugated and he's been subjected to almost like his rights as a person have been dehumanized. So what we are asking for is for the government to be able to look critically on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to ensure that fundamentally that this is the aspirations and hope of people, especially of the Igbo tribe, that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released, it will bring about, it will bring security in the Southeast, it would enhance productivity, and at the same time, allow the Igbos to freely be engaged in various activities that Igbos are running away from because of high crime and criminality, banditry and assassination. So for Mr. President, it would also help Mr. President consolidate his goodwill in the Southeast. But for him, and then you look at, I'm sorry to say, but when you look at his prosecution team, every member of his prosecution team are Yoruba. So the judge is Yoruba. It now appears as if it's a war between the Yoruba tribe and the Igbo tribe. It shouldn't be like that. So for us, it is critically important for the government to be circumspect about this, and the Igbos are asking for it, and that this is our this is our hope and aspiration, that the president can consider universally the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so that Southeast can return to peace, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can come to his family and be engaged in productive activities as he has been previously. That he's demanding and demanding for the welfare and well-being of his people is not it's not a crime. Right. Anybody can demand for the betterment of their people.